right. Cowboys lose in Cowboys fashion. That's what happened. We lost in our own fashion. Was this game winnable? One can argue and say, yeah. Now, was the defense the best in the world? One can say, nah, not even close. Were they the worst? Nah. Were the offense able to put money up? Yeah. But we looked so stale at times. It took us forever and a day to get the offense going. And when we look at the weapons and we look at everything that this particular team got, I know one can argue and say, well, they gave up 6 sacks, Law. 6 of them. Not 1, not 2, but 6. And when we started to break down how, then we will say, hey, as fans, we've been yelling, hey, Connor Williams, hey, as much as we like the kid or what have you, he's not strong enough to handle those big boys inside. But, Law, you can't only look at 1 or 2 plays, but those 1 or 2 plays can cost your quarterback his life and get him scared for the entire game, basically. That's the reality of it, regardless of it. And I'm not trying to point the finger at Connor Williams. Solid for most of this year. But it always go down to when he got to play against those big boys up in the middle, he's moonwalking. Look, when we was calling the game, I was saying who did it best, Connor Williams or Michael Jackson? I think he got Michael Jackson beat the way he was moonwalking back into the quarterback, causing all type of pressure and crazy stuff for that particular quarterback. Andy Dalton, now he's second guessing everything, double clutching the ball, and just crazy. It took him forever to get into the groove. And I understand the political football. I get it, right? You extend Kellen Moore. I don't know whose contract will be longer. Will it be Mike McCarthy's or Kellen Moore? But at this time, you have to say to yourself, looking at the historic data, you would say that Kellen Moore is the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
He ain't lying.
And I thought, this is just me thinking, when you are the head coach, you get at least a chance to pick out your own guys. But it's a clear shot that Kellen Moore was more so to do with the Joneses. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that we as Cowboys fans, we have to understand that there will be growing pains. Regardless, there will be growing pains. Will Kellen Moore ever dial up the best running attack as it relates to running the ball? It's going to be a while before he developed that. And the only way you can develop that is time. And are we at a win now moment? We can say that we are, but we are far from that right now, collectively speaking. We got so much mess to go along with the fact do you sign Dak Prescott? Do you not sign him? Or during this offseason, do we rip apart this defense that's there now, historically bad defense, who all of a sudden giving us turnovers, giving us takeaways, right? Now, individually, players are getting burnt left and right. I understand that part of it. But turnovers and takeaways, from what I've known with the Dallas Cowboys, it's hard to come by. And we getting that. Giving the quarterback a chance and opportunity to have a short field, or giving the offensive coordinator a chance and opportunity to have a short field. And we playing hero ball. Look, my dog, Anthony Brown, man, he's still lost in space. The separation is crazy. Both number 87 and as well as the other kid, Darius Slayton, burnt him up like toast. I mean, separation was huge. You can put the Empire State Building in between those guys out there on the field. That's how crazy the separation. Now, we got a dog out of Diggs. He did a wonderful job on mirroring and also covering his particular end of the situation as it relates to being a cornerback, covering somebody and covering the wide receivers, dare I say. But we got issues outside of that. We got issues with Xavier Woods. I do know he made probably like 1 or 2 plays out there, which was cool, but he gave up by 5. That's the scenario. Now, Donovan Wilson, we can look back and say, man, that brother there, I'm just trying to give out all of the positives that I can. That brother there, yes, fantastic. Now we can only close our eyes and imagine, man, if we had another safety, a dog, somebody that can really play and make plays on a consistent basis right beside him. It would be nasty if they can find that one guy. And here's the craziest thing of it all. Remember Steve and Jones were talking about that pie, that we got to protect the pie, that we can't give too much money here and too much money there. Well, newsflash, you threw away $13 million. That was enough pie or money there, I say, to sign us and solidify and get you one good player instead of all of these TJ Maxx, Burlington Cofactor type of players, these players on the clearance racks and things like that. And I'm not trying to say that these guys are doing the wrong way, but this is the only way the Cowboys been doing it, and it's going on now 26 years. They buy so low. And they never sell high. That's the craziest thing. I thought that you're supposed to buy low and sell high. As it relates to these players, they don't will and deal. They buy them low and they say, okay, we cut them when they find out that they can't do this, they can't do that, and the player goes to another team and they make something happen of themselves over there. I don't know. I'm not in the mindset of saying that this team is cursed, but, man, it's close to whatever that word is, right? Cursed. It's close to it. So all this offseason, we will be talking about Dak Prescott. Do they sign him? Do they not? Do they extend Andy Dalton? Because that is what they did with Kellen Moore. Do they let him go to Boise? Do they not? We know that they gave him a counteroffer, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just going to say this again. We have to accept the reality that there will be growing pains. There will be growing pains, no, regardless of how you look at it. When we get into the red zone, the efficiency level is just not there. Oh, Andy, look, all I was asking is like, hey, fade that ball to Michael Gallup. Fade that ball to even number 19, Amari Cooper. Missile that ball to the seam route. You don't need forever in a day. Those are preset plays depending on what the defense is showing you. And when they gave you that look, where they played the too high safety look and man underneath, there have been a prime opportunity to change up the play to hit your tight end up the seam. Never. None of that stuff. We don't see none of that stuff. And this is not an Andy Dalton versus the Dak Prescott. I know that there's a few fans out there saying, okay, look, we made it this far with Andy Dalton. Can you imagine if this and that were to happen? No. Either you got it or you don't. And we started off so flat. Look, the first 15 plays are scripted, right? Jason Garrett, those first 15 plays murdered us, ripped our heart out because they looked at this particular team and said, okay, the weakness is in the interior, right? Couldn't even get it out. The weakness is in the interior. And they did just that. They opened it up with the pass and said, okay, now we got the defense spread. Now we're going to run it right up the gut. Oh, we give them a little jazz action, preset reads of moving this tight end here to the opposite side of the field, and we're going to run it again. We couldn't stop the run, baby. We couldn't stop it. The best running back on the field was number 22, and he wasn't even on the Cowboys, right? Goldman, even though he fumbled twice. Now, we can go back and forward with the decision-making, whether or not you call timeouts or whether or not you throw a challenge flag and these sorts of things. I thought that when you establish your head coach, and if he's not calling the plays, that he got to be up to snuff on a whole bunch of things, meaning that he got to be up to snuff on, hey, what's the down and out distance? What are the tendencies or the chances and the possibilities of this particular kicker making a kick? What are the chances and the opportunities of us making it on third down or fourth down compared to a 3rd and 3 or compared to 3rd and 5? All of those things goes into play. But somehow, this particular team, we don't see that. I thought that when you bring in a guy who's a Super Bowl caliber coach or what have you. And I know that everybody going to be looking at it like, nah, dog, they had to do everything with Aaron Rodgers, right? But I thought that we would at least see some brilliancy. Now, we looked at the previous game, and we saw that they utilized the wide receivers on the outside, caught the Eagles in the man free multiple times. But when they play against the Giants and they do the inverse, they got the 2 deep safety look. You should know they're giving you the middle hook. They're giving you the middle of the field. So you can't reverse game plan, and instead of attacking the outside, attack the middle of the field. Oh, we're using other analytics now. And you run the ball with Ezekiel Elliott, and you run the ball with Tony Pollard. Right up the gut. Jalen Smith was asked after the game, hey, Jalen, do you think you'll be back? And he was saying that, hey, real people that watch tape know what it's all about. I think this and I think that. Why you just can't say, dog, hey, I'm the leader of this team. I will be back. Got to speak with authority. They don't even let you in heaven being lukewarm. Come on, Jalen. You're supposed to be the captain of this team. Collectively speaking, especially when you are the linebacker, right? Linebacker supposed to be able to line up everybody, call out the defense so that everybody can be in a line. And he's supposed to be the leader of the team regardless of whether or not he won it or not. That's just his role. That's supposed to be his role. When you don't have directions, if you don't have a clear, concise way of playing out there, you're sloppy. You look sloppy. You get ate up. You allow the opposition to get their pads and their hands on you, basically. They move you out of the way. But shout out to Diggs, though. He did his job, covered his man, all on him like a cheap suit, like a sealsucker suit. He was all over his guy. But Anthony Brown, my goodness. We can go back and forth and talk about the collective scheme, yes. But what I do not want is next year we look back at this thing and we would say, man, well, maybe wait till next year when the defense have 2 years under whoever the new defensive coordinator is. And we already made our bed with this situation by bringing in a Mike Nolan. Now, for Mike Nolan's defense, he would say, hey, was this the team? This is what y'all wanted? Y'all wanted turnovers. Y'all wanted takeaways. And now you guys getting them. Now I fool around and move this and move that. And you guys never gave me a set of weapons. These are all the previous head coach guys. Where are my guys? So Mike Nolan can say that. He can yell, go climb up to the tallest mountain or the tallest building in Dallas and say, hey, these are not my guys. I can't help it that Xavier Woods only giving 50%, 60% of the time, or 80% of the time, whatever he said. I can't help it that we got a Jalen Smith running around here with one leg. In the moment that I try to bench him, that we got Jerry Wayne and company and Stephen Jones saying, hey, no, he's the cornerstone of this particular defense. I can't help it that Cheeto Awuzie still not getting his head around to the ball, and he's giving soft coverage. And I'm not trying to throw any shade or salt at those guys. We're going to have a fundamental type of change, a cultural change as well. I don't know where it will come from, but the brightest spot on this team, Donovan Wilson, Diggs, even though he had a lot of ball-headed plays, Randy Gregory, D-Law, who else were some bright spots on his defense? I'm waiting. Y'all post their name down below. It's hard to find them. So now what this team need to do is implement. Oh, okay, we can say Gallimore. We can talk about him. But we all know about that sophomore slump. That's a mother sucker. So they're going to have to figure out, okay, let's make some investments as it relates to the interior defensive tackle. Oh, let's make some investments as it relates to safety play. Because you got to spend a little. We can't be marching out here with this same type of defense next year. We can't be marching out here with the same type of offense, the inefficiency levels as it relates to the offense. Let's talk about those warts on the offensive side. I think your 3 wide receivers, they did a decent and an okay job for this year. Now, I think that also we giving out praises, but I got to be transparent when I say this. CeeDee Lamb, you got to catch that ball, fam. You're doing all of these awkward catches during the offseason. You got to stay in the game mentally. Now, the first interception that was thrown by Andy Dalton scared the hell out of him. Scared the hell out of Andy. Although it was picked up or what have you because of the flag of defensive holding. But you got to continue to play. Continue to fight through the echoes of the whistle. You can't let up on a route. You can't do that. So no. I don't think that this coaching staff got a coach with that type of bone in their body to get out there and say, hey, you got to do this a little bit better. I know everything's fluff over here in Dallas land. We don't see a coach in the faces of these players, and I understand. It's just the culture of the Cowboys. Now, maybe if a coach get into his grill, then maybe in the fourth quarter, when it's time for you to hold on to the ball, maybe they can see, don't drop that ball. You don't play no basketball with that football, basically. That's all I'm saying. Far as a collective, he did great for his rookie year, but we still got to go over everything. And we can't be so predictable as it relates to running the rock. I mean, come on. Look, the craziest thing of it all, shotgun, we pass. Or we get in our formation. Run. Everybody knows you about to run now, right? You got to have some nuance, some wrinkles in it when you call it or when you're dialing up the actual run. That's all I'm saying. Shotgun pass. Oh, I run, pro set, run. Everybody knows you about to run it. There's no nuances to it. That's all I'm saying. We're going to have to fix those things out, regardless of whether or not you have a prolific quarterback on the center or you have an Andy Dalton on the center. Or you have a DiNucci, or you have Garrett Gilbert. Offense got to step it up. As much as we talk about mulligans, who given the mulligan for the year, it's kind of strange to me that we're going to allow this to be left from our mouths to the Joneses' ears. Oh, yeah, we agree. Give Mike McCarthy the mulligan. When the decisions have nothing to do with health. The decisions of not throwing the flag. You're $1 billion corporation. And you mean to tell me you don't have nobody to spot check to see whether or not the ball moved a little, right? You trying to hold on to your timeouts? I'm just saying, we're going to have to do a chin check on a lot of things. Shout out to this season. Shout out to Cowboys for muscling it through. We're 6-10. We still got a decent draft pick that we can make something happen. But don't look for this draft to save it all. Because you still, all this year, we've been talking about Reggie Robertson. Didn't get a chance to see the field. Bradley or not, didn't get a chance to see the field. You see what I'm saying? All I'm saying is, Cowboy Nation, we're going to have to fix this thing. So post me your thoughts, post me your concerns down below in the chat box, Cowboy Nation. Let me know how you all feel of this complete team. Whether or not did we make the right decisions with Mike McCarthy? Would we be making the right decision of looking for a new defensive coordinator, knowing that they're going to use that same excuse next year? Saying that, okay, we didn't have the rapport. We didn't have the continuity. They better bring up somebody from within. Or if they do bring in a new person, make it soon, early, and quick so that everybody can have the understanding that this would be the philosophy of the defense. No more 3-4. No more 4-3. No more hybrid stuff. Stick to something and learn it and do it your best. That's what I believe. Find this thing out so it won't be 27 years and counting. And then so it won't be 28 years and counting. So it won't be 30 years and counting, right? We can see the talent. And I believe, and this has nothing to do with the Joneses at this point, we can see the talent. As fans, we can see that, okay, this team got the talent. Nothing to do with Jones is when I make this point. We can see the talent. We can see everything as fans. We can see the way Ezekiel Elliott been used and abused. We can see the way that Amari Cooper showed his flashes. Michael Gallup disappeared here and there, and of course Amari Cooper as well. And we know what need to be done. Like, come on, coaching with coaching sense. Make it make sense, basically. But now back to the Joneses. What do they see? They got to be seeing the same tape that we are seeing, right? Right? Now, on one end, when we win, they get all of the credit. But when we lose, they kind of escape out of this thing and say, no, remember when I was getting the credit. That's their philosophy. I'd have ranted enough. I'm trying to keep it all cool with it, you guys. So it's draft time for your mind now, and we're going to figure out what we could do. I'm with the belief, BPA, grab the best player available. And if you so happen to fall in love with a guy, trade back up or trade back in and grab that person. Don't get too cute. Don't try to look at this thing and say, okay, what we going to do now, Cowboy Nation, is that we're going to look at this thing and say, all right, we're going to trade back to get the 2 or 3 guys that we want, because unless it's a king's ransom, stick where you at, get the BPA. And if you see somebody that you love more than you like, trade back into the first or trade back into the second and roll it up like that. But once again, if you have 5 or 6 guys, rookies for 2021 from this draft starting, it's going to be a hard year to go through all of those growing pains. That's the bottom line. Now, can we look at this thing and say, okay, we're talking about future? Yeah. But now you open up a whole new crazy bag, meaning that now you got to push everything back a little bit further as far as your window of time. All right, Cowboy Nation, speaking of time, that's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go, Cowboy Nation.